Okay.
We're just getting ready. It's not quite there yet, but hold on.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do that. Open another browser. And there we go. It's like we're starting.
So
Yeah.
other
Good, good,
mediums
good.
call me to get psychic readings.
Yeah, but okay.
They
So
do.
that's turned off. Okay, so interesting. Where did you go? Now we're gonna start. Okay. Hold on. I have to start on this channel. I'm sorry, I'm a little here you go, recording
I
this.
have no idea why. I don't know
Hi.
why you're being so
Yeah.
difficult.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Friday, August 9th, 2024. This is GoldFish Report number 1109. This is our Food for the Soul series, which everybody loves. It's just good for the soul. Returning with me is psychic medium Mark Christopher Nelson and his lovely wife, Barbara. So welcome back. Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you
Nice to
too.
see you.
We're
Good to
going to
be here.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about mediumship synchronicities, how people know that they have this ability, the difference between psychic and mediumship. So why don't we get started, Mark?
Okay. Well, one thing I love it. People will tell me, you know, um, I saw my grandmother after she died. She walked across the room. And then I saw my mother get in a car accident and I wasn't there. I told her, look out for the car. And then I knew that a guy in a green coat would be coming in the door. Do you think I'm psychic? And so I'll say, well, if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, it's a psychic. So the whole principle is that so many people, it's like, I don't know if I want to do this, I want to go there. Barbara has had some wonderful experiences or some, startling ones. And so it really comes down to it's like be open if you're getting messages, don't be afraid of them. And also too, we talked about this a little bit off air, but all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums. And what that is that I know psychics that's like, I don't want to talk to the dead. It's like, why? They're just there to help, hang out, help. And that, what are you afraid of? Or why are you having a problem with
Or
them?
or they people think that you're gonna read their mind. So they don't want to go near you.
Barbara has a friend that says he's not psychic, he's
He
just a
just,
mind
yeah,
reader.
he's a mind reader.
And I have no idea how you would be a
And
mind
that's
reader.
that's not how it works.
No, mind reader? What is
Yeah.
that? Is that Karnak the magician or something from the Tonight Show? I don't know. So, but in any case, um, just to break it down, as a medium, I can see people in spirit, and that's really how I was introduced to this ability. But then I realized that people in spirit just don't want to come up, say hello, hi, I'm your dad. Just wanted to say hi. Okay, I'm going now. I'm going to go fishing for the next 30 years. It doesn't work like that. They'll come in and they'll say, you know what, you shouldn't worry about some of the conflicts at your office or your work, or don't worry about your mom's health. She has time. They'll tell me things. And so my source for mediumship is usually my client or the sitter's guardian angel saying, tell her this, tell him that. And then they may give me a name and all of that. By the way, if for anyone who's listening tonight, if you have questions, they can also be psychic in nature.
Mhm.
So if you have a question such as, should I sell my house? Am I going to get laid off? Who is this person named Richard at my work? Should I be worried about him? Anything like that. That's something that can, people don't always put it together, but it can be really useful to do that. So, and also too, I would say there are in general more psychics. And I think it's just because people have a fear of dealing with people in spirit. Barbara kind of showed up with me so much right from the beginning that she started to see and get involved with me in this work. She's been my partner in crime, so to speak, going out and
I think everybody should have a medium friend because Mark helped me with my work because
oh, I
I
could.
would talk to him about certain people and it's like, should I trust that person?
And
No.
so with what, a burnt match? you
But
know?
you know what? I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm
No,
sorry. Can you hear
please
me?
don't.
Yeah. You see,
Yeah.
Barbara, you had a gut feeling
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and that's
No,
why
I did.
you had asked, Mark, if someone was a person you should watch out for, but your own gut like told you. And this is
Right.
what we don't listen to, right? We really don't give it enough. We don't give our intuition proper place in our
Do.
life, really.
No, we
And
don't
I'm
give
not
it to
blaming
you.
you, Barbara, or anything. We've all done it. I'm just saying that,
Uh,
that's how this ends up unfolding, right?
right, right. Trusting your gut. That's important.
And along with trusting your gut, a lot of people, they think, I mean, when I hear, oh, what a coincidence that that happened. What a coincidence. It's like you're just not paying attention. It really isn't a coincidence. Um, this can be a synchronicity
Mhm.
that is far greater than you're willing to acknowledge, because then if this synchronicity is true, there may be
Mhm.
other things in your life related to it that make you uh, unsure of yourself, or fearful, or whatever it else might be, you know?
Mhm.
So,
You have for some time on the Goldfish Report or on Food for the Soul here talked about your psychic predictions of, I guess, this coming economic collapse. By the way, there was reportedly another assassination attempt on Trump today. His plane
Oh,
was diverted from he was supposed to be going to Billings, Montana,
oh,
uh-huh.
or
right. Yeah.
he was
Montana.
diverted to another city so because of mechanical problems on the plane, so hard to imagine he'd have someone sabotage it, but I guess it can happen, right? These
Yep.
things can still
Yep.
happen. So at some point he probably, shouldn't. I mean, this is the campaign, right? But
Yes.
he can still, even if he just does things live on like even if he just does things pre-recorded on television or just does a live, if he does things where he doesn't have to physically be there with a lot of people, I think he might be safer, but look, I mean, he's had at least 50 assassination attempts on his life since he became president.
Yeah.
I reported on one myself when I was working at the White House, so um it's not a game. I mean, it's very
Oh,
serious. Um, but the stakes couldn't be higher, actually, at this
yes.
point. What is your read on all of this, Mark?
My sense is that there's going to be something done with his food, like, because I think it's going to look like he may have had a heart attack. So I'm hoping that his protectors, his Secret Service, are paying very close attention to what he eats, any other contact he makes with people, because I get the sense that he may have a bit of like what feels like either it can be stress or it can be a heart attack. He's not, you know, 65 anymore, and he's not a small guy, but my sense is that he beats it. But there's just this, like, if it's not an arrhythmia, it feels like that there's a heart condition that pops up temporarily, and it really is fleeting in nature, which makes it seem like more of an aberration, which makes it look like something that needs to be examined more closely,
Mhm.
and that could result in it being what was the cause of this?
Right.
And that's where I feel like that the potential for either poisoning or something that might give someone um, an erratic heartbeat, because I feel like he's going to contend with that at some point. I think he does feel absolutely he does recover.
Yeah.
If it isn't, I mean, I also feel like he's going to be victorious in November, despite some people being very fearful about the fix being on again with the
Mhm.
Democrats. I find it very difficult that they're going to have a significant enough turnout, with cheating or not, to overturn the election and become victorious. As we both know, there's going to be, right now, it appears that the media is fawning over Kamala
Kamala.
Harris,
Yeah.
because they have no choice but to do that, even though she's never had a primary. I mean, she's never that. And anyway, I don't want to get too much more political than that. My sense is that it does not go well for them.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like that uh, the more they can only keep her from the public for so long.
Yeah.
And if they get to a point where we have to show who she really is, it's not going
Well,
to be very effective.
they're gonna debate now.
Well,
They've agreed on a debate, so.
Is that a message? Oh, it was a message. Yeah, I mean, do you really see that there's going to be an election in November, or do you think
yeah,
something
I do.
cataclysmic's going to happen?
I don't think the cataclysmic is going to happen. I think that the real disasters will happen after the election,
Yeah,
where there's going to be an awful lot of people that say, we will not leave. We're not going quietly. We will not be repatriated to our home countries. And then you're going to see, I do feel like that there could be um, there is going to be another escalation of fighting. I feel this is just my opinion. I feel like I'm hearing it. It is actually, let me take that back. It's not my opinion. My opinion doesn't matter here.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
matters not.
Hmm.
What I'm hearing is that there's going to be greater conflict in the Middle East, rapid, and that you don't need a psychic to tell you that. But I'm telling you, this is what I see. I see more fighting. I see Israel deciding to not take it too lightly anymore and to become more uh, robust, provide more robust fighting back. I feel like that they will dial it up. I feel like that their enemies are temporarily trying to reinforce their own defenses against the Israeli weapons that will be coming at them at the beginning of this next round of violence and war.
Right. Mm. Yeah, well, it's definitely, you're right. I mean, definitely escalating. That's interesting that you said that. I mean, I don't want to get political here. Oh boy, I could get into trouble. But did you hear the UK today? In the UK, they're actually going to they're arresting people for making for posting videos
right.
of the violence that's happening in the UK. And they also said that anyone in the United States who's posting these videos showing the violence and the gangs getting ready with their weapons and stuff to go hunting for people to terrorize, they said that they would extradite
Oh,
Americans.
they
They
can't.
can't.
Well, we don't know in this world what they can't. They can't. Mm. This world isn't run by rules. It runs by those who break them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
with impunity. So they don't have rules. Only we have rules.
Yes.
So I'm just saying that, we'll see. We'll see how that goes, right?
Hmm.
What about, so the rest of the summer? We're like in August already.
Ninth,
So
yeah. Today's the ninth.
September.
August 9th. So this
Okay.
August, so the rest of August, how do you see this month kind of playing out for just the rest of August, you see?
I feel like that there's by the way, we are in a Mercury retrograde, and I can just say I have experienced it firsthand. Soon as the retrograde started, I tested positive for COVID. I got an eye infection, and then I had difficult communications at work that turned out to be nothing, but it was just like, and
It's
here's
a
something you might want to
retrograde.
worry about. Here's something else to worry. And then it all just this week is the things that could have been problems melted away. I do believe that we're going to see in the United States, I feel like that it'll be a gradual turning up of the pressure, just a little as we head into things. I see it
Yeah.
becoming, I think that the retrograde is going to work against, I'm going to say, the enemy, as well as people who are trying to protect a country. So I feel like that it's going to I think September things can really start to roll in perhaps a more negative way in some places because the reality of the election is going to be creeping up on us. This is not going to be your normal Halloween, Thanksgiving holiday season. It feels like that there's going to be more fear, people looking over their shoulders, and that more. I do feel like that there is going to be conflict that occurs across around the globe that is going to then echo back on us here in the United States.
Mm.
It's
What
not a
about
good.
the financial markets? I mean, we saw a
Oh, it'll
huge,
be fine.
we saw the the financial markets?
Oh,
Because we just had a huge drop last week, a huge crash down 1,000 points, which is huge. Um, but that's just the precursor, I believe. What are you seeing on that?
well, I have to, I feel like that we are going to see more erratic up, down, up, down, up, down,
Mm,
which will then bottom out at a certain point.
mhm.
We had a happy little correction after the fact, but it doesn't mean that is it really I mean, I'm thinking everything is being manipulated for the American
Mm-hmm.
public. Gas prices are fairly
Mm-hmm.
reasonable now. Does
Mm.
anybody put it together? Oh, gosh, it's not a bad price at the pump. Is this an election year? Yeah,
Yes,
wake
exactly.
up.
That's how it
Maybe
is.
someone is
Yeah.
manipulating the fuel
Everything.
supply. Think about it, kids.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
someone wants you to have a favorable disposition to the current administration, and that the fears about gas and price and
Mm.
all of the things associated with it, and if the gas prices come down, inflation goes down with it because people don't have to pay so much. So, and that's as easy to
Mm.
manipulate as
Yeah.
can it really is. So as things go worse for Democrats, I think that you're going to see oh, who cares anymore? Let's make a mess of things. I unfortunately I voted Democrat for 30 years, 30 something years. I feel like that the current people are not the same Democrats I voted for exactly. I felt like I was there kind of earlier on,
Hmm.
and I thought that it was a different way of doing things. But in any case, I feel like that there are people that are going to expose their either bad intent or their inability. It's going to be one and or the other, alternating. So
Hmm.
that's an issue. That's going to be a problem. What it's going to do to markets, I think you're going to see. I pray anyone that's trying to sell a house, try to sell it quickly. This is probably not going to don't look for any late summer smooth deals. I feel like that the markets are going to get really ugly. I feel like that there will be a temporary drop in interest rates that will have very little effect because there's just not much there won't be anybody buying anything, whether it's 7 or 6.5% or six or
Hmm.
whatever it would
Hmm.
be. It's going to be a time when people are worried by the echoes of war. They're worried about, what is my job going to be there in October? Should I do this? There are so many people, there's so many fears. The other
Right,
thing too,
right. Yeah.
we also have to realize that I heard a term the other day. It feels like it's very accurate. Fear porn.
Yeah.
Fear porn. And so the idea that there are people that if we can remain fearful, we can be more easily cowed, pushed, manipulated.
Right.
So, and whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, it doesn't matter because it applies to all of us.
Hmm.
So, um, my sense is spirit is telling me, don't make a big purchase. If you're trying to sell something, take the best price you get now. The prices are not going to go up as the year goes along.
Mm.
Protect yourself, keep yourself fluid, put your money in a place where it won't be taken down by the markets.
Hmm. You
If you
okay? Mm.
Yeah, I'm still at the end of this COVID thing,
Uh-huh.
so
Hmm.
I
I
bark occasionally.
I'd like to add to Mark's the idea of this fear porn,
Hmm.
and it's a different kind of warfare that we're in. It's not like the people coming down the streets with the guns and the tanks, and it's bad news on about the economy, your house insurance going up or not being able to get house insurance. There's like all these elements around us that are making us fearful. And I would say this, I would say, you know, you have to believe, that it's going to work out. And if you put out your positive intention, it's very important, because I think there's elements that or entities that feed off your fear, and you just try to not go there. And for instance, our daughter was very afraid of her credit card. And so I just told her, I go, listen, they don't care what you pay, just pay them something. Just call them up, you know. And she did, and she called them up and they settled a good fee that she could pay every month, you know.
Yeah.
And that fear has gone away. So it's like, face your fear. Yeah, face your fear, but don't go there. Don't immediately go for the fear, you know. Go for the positive intention and positivity around you. And I think things will work out. I mean, we're in uncharted territory right
Mm.
now, but I think stuff like this has
Mhm.
happened before. I got a message very early on, like this was back when we were in California,
Hmm.
because things were just starting to, you know, the COVID and the lockdowns and all this. And I get my messages in my dreams, and I was, you know, I was coming out of a dream, and I heard a voice saying, this evil has been around a long time. It will always be around. And all you can do is just fight it and stuff it back and get, you know, it's forever, but you can win. You can win. And that message has stuck with me, because I think that we can overcome this fearfulness. We have, as humanity, we've overcome it before. And so I think we
Mhm.
can do it again.
Well, I like that idea that you used because about, well, she called them, tackled that fear by
Right,
calling, facing your fear. It's really being proactive, isn't it? And
right,
it's like you can't, if you procrastinate with fear, it'll consume you. But if you
right.
are proactive with the fear and like you said, confront it, you have to, you can't, avoid it, right? Fear
Hmm.
is really only something that um it's based on our expectations, it's based on a lack of knowledge.
Right.
Um, and we have to deal with our fear, in a more proactive way and not let it control our lives. I mean, certainly it's a fight or flight response. So it's built into us. We're endowed with it. So for a reason. Okay. I can take exactly. But we can't, if we let it drive everything. We're supposed to be separate from animals. Okay. We're not supposed to be like animals and have that fear just always, drive us. And even animals can be playful and just like dogs, boy, they can just be the light of your life. And some cats, but some cats just have a catitude and
Yeah.
they're always going to be that way. And you just have to love them for who they are, but whatever.
Uh,
Um,
well, can I say the opposite of fear, I think, can be aiming to manifest something.
mhm,
Barbara yesterday and I, Barbara and I yesterday, pardon me.
Lionsgate,
Yeah, Lionsgate, there's something about, oh,
Sirius
Sirius, there's something.
lining up with the moon or the sun.
mhm,
And it was eight, so at eight, on 8/8 at eight
8 o'clock,
o'clock PM, the idea was to manifest.
eight intentions.
Now,
mhm.
what's interesting is that I didn't realize that on the very same day that it was Lionsgate, I have the possibility of working with Lionsgate, a
Production
production
company.
company.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen those. Good,
So
good, good. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like, is that a synchronicity? All right, so one thing too, when you see synchronicities like that, I would say pay attention to them.
Oh
All right,
yeah. Oh yeah.
because if you write it off as a coincidence and just throw it aside, it's like the
Mhm.
universe is going, what do I have to do? Hit you in the head?
Exactly, exactly.
You're not going to pay attention to Lionsgate on Lionsgate? What's wrong with you? So, and you never want spirit to start saying, if you're going to ignore me, I'm going to yell or I'm going to do really unpleasant things to get your attention. But I really do think that synchronicities, um, it's like you're trying to get somewhere, do something. And a couple of, you could say, breaks go your way. Um, that can be just, oh, it's just a coincidence. It's like the universe is trying to help you um, buoy your spirits, put a
Mhm.
little wind in your sails, tell you keep going.
There,
And
there's,
it can be that the universe
yeah.
saying, go, you
Mhm.
can do it.
We have a viewer who has asked a question. Are you ready for questions?
I'm ready for questions. Fire away.
Okay. All right, wonderful. This is Janet. Hi, Janet. Thanks for putting your question in the chat. This is from Janet, and she's asking if there's any messages from her loved ones, either Brian or her dad,
Um,
or Janet. Mhm.
all right. I see Janet doing this thing where she crosses her arms in front of herself. To me, it says protect yourself in the clinches. So if Janet is Janet the mother or the person writing in?
I don't know what if she's a mother or
Well,
not.
all
She's
right.
just
Well,
someone writing
I'm
in. Yeah.
seeing Janet. If it's a Janet, I'm seeing a mom say protect yourself. To me, this means if if you feel like that you're either being scrutinized or bothered or someone wants something from you,
Mhm.
take the extra precaution to um, protect yourself, whatever it would be it change a lock, change a password, be more conscious of your surroundings. She's saying, be protective like this. Be protective like this. I'm also feel like dad is just like this it doesn't feel like dad's favorite season for some reason, time of the year. I feel like dad's saying this is not my best time, my happiest time. I want you to know that I still love you, even though this is not my favorite time of the year. I don't know if something negative, bad happened in the family. Feels like it was something that brought him down. I don't know if he passed in this time of year, but he says this is a tough time of year for it was for him.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if this relates. So if anything comes to mind why Dad would say this is not his favorite time of the year, please let me know. Also, too, he says um, I salute you. I'm proud of you. There's a proud of you thing here. So I would say that whenever Dad stands up for you and shows that, you know, you're gonna be okay, but he says this is just something occurred now. He's just being like kind of sad about what happened around now. Okay.
Okay. She'll let me know. Janet, just let us know if any, that made sense, if you validate that or this time of year. That's interesting. I mean, not your favorite time of year. Well, I'll tell you, and right now it's really not my favorite time because it's so darn hot and humid. And it's so
Mhm.
like it's not just hot. I mean, this is high dew points. This is the really uncomfortable. This is being outside
Right.
for 5 minutes and you're drenched with sweat already. You're just pouring. You can't enjoy yourself in that kind of
No.
sweaty environment. And so it is, although I like summer and I look forward to it, it's like when it comes like this, uh, you just wait for that fall cooler season to come.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I mean,
Yeah.
oh, what else? I feel like that I see you like marching off. I feel like you're going back to work again. I don't know if you want that other thing that we talked about, that position where you're kind of on staff. I look at it, the one school thing.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh.
I see you marching off to take on work. All right. This is for you. All
Mm.
right.
Okay.
Um, and I'd say it's not a bad thing. All right. Um, I see you in like high heels and your heel breaks. I don't know why that is. So be
I know,
careful.
I think it's happened. Oh, I've had flip-flops break on me in stores and I kind of like it was
Uh,
hilarious. They do break, in those
yeah,
worst
Yeah.
possible places. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I see you kind of looking kind of spiff or trying to get somewhere, being serious, and it's like, shit, what happened to my shoe? So, um, I don't know, just be conscious that you don't get hung up on a sidewalk or a crack in the sidewalk. That feels like it's a silly thing, but it's not. All
Always
right.
bring an extra pair of shoes.
You're a smart lady then, someone who's been in the big city and knows what it's like. I got to get across town. These things are going to kill me. Um, um, uh, if your daughter's applying for something for school, if it's I see her jumping up and saying, I got it, I got some help, I got some help. So that feels positive, helpful. All right. Feels like that there's a couple things associated with it that she can handle, but she gets um a little boost, we'll call it. Okay.
Thank
And,
you.
and that feels helpful.
Yep.
Um, oh, and the other thing too is I feel like that um, all right. I'm going into a reading for you.
Okay.
Um, I'm seeing you and your neighbors like joining arms and saying, let's do this together. So it feels like that you get involved with talking to your neighbors, working with your neighbors a little bit. If there's like a group event in the neighborhood, a group initiative, people want to have a group, a street meeting, a block meeting, go do it. Okay. Feels like that your ability to speak is useful. I feel like that you're going to be um, helpful because I feel like that there's a lack of direction and that your natural ability to organize would be appreciated. I just feel like that people's like, what do we do with this? We got a little issue here. How do we manage this? Um, there Neighborhood watch might be part of it too. So take a look at how you might work with local police in your area. So look at if there's any topics like that, or talk to your neighbors, see if there's anybody that wants to become a little better organized and it feels like there's a level of safety involved with this. Okay.
Right, right, right. Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Ay, ay,
what
ay.
fun with that? Doesn't it sound like fun? That's how you want to spend your time during the summer. Um, oh, what else?
That's
Um,
interesting. My neighbors.
Yeah, even if
They're
you're not
fun
crazy about
people.
them, no, I feel like
We're just so busy. We never really have time to, kind of ever see each other, except
well,
when
it
we're
feels.
picking up our garbage cans, you
Yeah.
know?
I know our neighbors are right there too. And it's like, hi, hey, bye, bye. You know,
Yeah.
just feels like something might be if you see posters go up or flyers saying, can anybody meet on a Friday at 6 or something, or Thursday at 6 or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Now, there may be some interest in addressing some concerns. I would also look at Nextdoor as an app to see if there are people in your area trying to organize behind a concern, a shared interest. Okay.
Mhm.
Nextdoor, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Take a look at that, see what's happening, because I feel like that you're not the only one that may be concerned about certain topics and or issues.
Okay. Yep. Yep. Thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
I I have oh, let's check and see if we've got oops, see the wrong thing here. Okay, Janet says, "Oh, I went to college first day. Teacher told me never to come. Dad and I knocked down a fight. I had a knockdown fight and she left 50 years ago." So her dad was there. Yeah. I guess
Wow,
she's validating you. Uh-huh.
that's funny.
Interesting. And I'm validating you too. I have to validate you that something did happen recently where exactly what you had said with my daughter is exactly what happened. I think you were psychically seeing something that had happened, but you didn't know about it. Yeah.
No, no. If it comes up, everyone, Louisa doesn't tell me everything happens to her daughter on a daily basis.
Yeah, and so this did happen. There was something we were working on, and it definitely is exactly the way you described it. You're good,
Good.
Mark. I wouldn't have you on my report if I didn't think that you were good. And for, especially food for the soul, because what we're really concerned about here is um having a sense of comfort, having a sense of maybe being, foreknowledge is being forewarned, right? And
Mhm.
things that you can, and you know what? Isn't it basically like, do you have this feeling that as the energy is in this particular moment, this is how you read, right? But
Mhm.
if something major were to change, I mean, it's a chess game, right? So if something major were to change, that's why you say you reserve the right to be wrong, because I guess something major could happen and that could alter that timeline, so to speak. I guess what you're doing is you're accessing a timeline for a person as the energy sits at the moment. But if
Mhm.
the energy changes, that timeline can change too. Would that be a fair characterization, or is that
I would say
not?
it's accurate. One thing too is that, I mean, I'm still this human guy, and that if I put myself in position to, I mean, I really like to describe myself as the communications department for the divine. I'm just working in PR, and the divine shows up and says, "Say this," and then so I go, "Okay, I got it." Right? And so I read what I'm given, kind of like a talking. It's
Uh-huh.
not quite that bad, but
Hmm.
just the idea that I don't own the messages I receive, but I
Yeah.
try to be as thoughtful and accurate as I can be with the information I receive, because
Hmm.
but also too, by not having to say, I'm always right. By the way, if a psychic says he's always right, just back away and run out of the room because I've never met anyone. I've met some of the reportedly best people that I'm aware of in this time. And no one is entirely accurate. But I would say that some people they go on streaks where they're shockingly hot and wonderful. And that's because they kind of slipped into the stream of consciousness
Right.
from the divine.
Hmm.
I know that there are times, I mean, I feel like I can always sit down and do something useful if a client calls or has a need at any given time or place. But then there are times where it's like, I have to like really, I mean, I find myself more malleable to what the divine wants me to do or hear.
Hmm.
And I do my best to keep the tool sharp, the instrument
Right.
clear, open, and useful. Because
Do you meditate at all, or do
yeah,
you do? Hmm.
and the reason is that I have to like purge. Okay, what did I do today? It doesn't matter. What am I doing tomorrow? Be here. Did I pay the gas bill? Worry about it later. Am I anxious about something? It doesn't matter right now. Your problems don't matter at this given moment. Be present. And it's almost like, you've got, let's say you're about to prepare a meal and the table's a mess. So you clean it. You wipe away everything that doesn't belong. And to me, that's another way of looking at meditation. I open up my mind to the things that um, I need to be present for so
Hmm.
that my view is unobscured. And I really work hard at letting go of things that are not constructive to what I'm about to do. Because I mean, in most of the meditations are in preparation for a client, and so, but there are meditations where Barb and I are just sitting in the back porch, and I'm like thinking, okay, there's something. I mean, I've told her this. I feel unsettled.
Right.
Something
Right.
is. It's almost like did I turn the oven off before we went out shopping?
Well,
It,
you felt like that before Trump was shot.
yeah,
You
I
kept
have
telling me, I feel some
something's
unsettled.
off. Something.
Before the show tonight?
No,
No,
Oh,
no,
before Trump
was
was
shot
shot.
a month ago or so.
yeah, yeah.
And I kept
13th.
feeling
Yeah.
something feels off. And it's like I can't put a finger on it until I sit back.
And you did that 9/11 too.
Oh, all right. We all have 9/11 stories. Mine
Mhm.
was I had to get on a plane on 9/11 morning and fly from Ohio to Philadelphia. And before I left, I kept feeling, God,
Really?
I feel really unsettled. And then I got this message, make sure Barbara knows you love her. So I sent Barbara a bouquet of flowers and had them scheduled to arrive on 9/11. So she knows I'm getting on a plane. I take off. At some point during the day, the flowers arrive, and then she can't get a hold of me because all the lines are jammed.
Yeah.
Because I get into Philadelphia right in a federal building, and everyone at the time thinks the federal buildings are all targets.
Right.
So it was that was my little okay, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
Make
something
sure
is.
I have home base covered, make sure
Yeah, but did Barbara, what did you think though, Barbara? Did you think, oh my God,
God,
you thought this was
God.
goodbye, huh? That must have been scary though, because you're like, oh my God, look how this coincidence happened, right? No
Yes,
coincidence, but
I know. I had no
am I
clue.
saying goodbye? Is this what
and it
this is?
wasn't an
Did you
Yeah.
know? I
anniversary.
mean,
Yeah.
I,
Because
I
I
know it's a
mean,
good idea for you, but it would have scared me. I see.
that was pretty scary
I thought it was
because
a nice
I thought
gesture.
he was having a premonition or something.
It was a
And he
premonition. I
was.
just didn't know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put a finger on why am I feeling like I need to tell her I love her in a very
Right,
physical,
right.
objective, visual
Yeah.
sort of way. And so then all of a sudden I'm running around in Philadelphia trying to figure out how to get back to Columbus, Ohio. And it was
And then
complicated.
that plane, the plane went down in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania,
we drove right by where the one went down outside
and
of
Mark was
Philly.
in the air at the same time.
Yeah,
So I couldn't, nobody at his work could get a hold of him, and
yeah.
oh,
Anyway,
Mm,
so
sorry. I never saw a plane in Pennsylvania, so I don't know about that.
there was the one we went by the one that crashed. It was supposed to like the people on the flight fought with the terrorists and they ended up driving it into a farm field.
right, right.
And so we drove right by that thing and it was like not far off the road. You see a whole circle of fire trucks and emergency. Anyway, that was no sense to reliving 9/11. I don't think the next event is going to be of that size, but I do think that we will be seeing something significant still, I think in terms of a terror activity. So I pray it's
Yeah,
nothing like that,
when
but
when Mark gets these just overwhelming
Mhm.
thing, I mean, his whole demeanor changes.
Mm.
It's not his usual. He looks kind of frantic and panicked, like, and I'm like, oh no.
well,
He
sometimes
doesn't get
Well,
it that often. He doesn't
um,
get.
yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Mark, because today there was reports that in Maui there's apparently bombs all over the place. I don't
What?
know who's put them there. And that there was a warning to the people to, I think this is a total land grab, what happened in Maui.
Right,
And it just looks like they're trying to threaten people to
right,
stay away. And that's that, folks, if you don't really realize who's running this world yet, I mean, you just, you have no excuse. You can't complain if you don't, realize what's happening
yes.
here and who runs this place, if you're not going to try to participate and make changes. However, I don't blame you if you don't, because it seems quite hopeless, doesn't it? And I feel like
Scary and
I,
what do we
I
all
feel,
do?
yeah, I feel like people don't know what to do, and that's the whole point. It's like we don't have a leader to unite behind. We can't all be chiefs with, no Indians. So we do need to have leaders. They need to emerge.
right,
And like they think that all these people coming through the border are going to be their votes, and that they're, changing the laws. They just, really doing, you know, they're creating policy, which, I mean, he can make emergency,
Yeah.
executive orders, but I mean, you know, you gotta let the legislators do the legislation, even though they're not working either. They're all paid off. It's so corrupt, but it's all biblical. It's all telling us what's going to happen in this time. It's just, and I'm not saying it in a religious sense. If you really look at the book without religion in it, and you can, I'm just saying you also can. You can also decide not to look at it. It just looks like a handbook that's telling us what's happening. But
Mhm.
you have to realize, well, who knew? So
Mhm.
of course, these are messages from our Heavenly Father. And you don't, have to believe it, or, I'm just saying that you know, I think that's where our greatest guidance is, aside from it doesn't address everything, which is why I think we need to have psychics, we need to have mediums, we need to have insight. Because I think we all have this ability, and I think it's all been engineered out of us, or due to all the electromagnetic frequencies around us, all of this. I think there's a lot
Definitely.
of things that um I would say uh I would just say that they inhibit our ability to um self self guide our choices sometimes, because we don't have all the information we need. And that's really what Jesus said, right? My people will perish for a lack of knowledge. And
Mhm.
this is as crazy as it sounds, it's really what's happened. People have been lied to. We've been lied to for a long, long time, very,
Mhm.
very long time. And the I I just hope and pray that Trump is going to do. I know he's going to do good things. The question is it for the right reason? Because I'm looking later down the road. I'm not looking like right now. He may. I just don't know, because I don't trust any of them. That's why.
Let me jump on that. I think that there are, I mean, I'm not the only one that does. There are good and bad people on both sides, blue and red teams. I hate the blue and red team thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But the idea that uh, there could be really evil people lurking in the shadows behind that, and I feel like that we'll call the enemy Satan is doing his best to manipulate people in both parties because it serves his purposes to create anguish, fear, concern. If we're put in a position where we don't know what's right or wrong, the enemy
Mhm.
wins. It
Yeah.
really comes down to that. So, as people that are trying to be conscious,
Mhm.
trying to be fair, open, critical thinkers, I would say pay attention to when you're listening to something, be an objective listener, and then also to pay attention to like, does that feel right? I want to, if there's one thing I'm going to ask people to try to get out of listening to us, it is to learn to honor your intuition. And what does that mean? If something feels funny, pause for a minute, write it down. Think, am I really doing it appears that I'm doing the right thing,
Mhm.
but I feel really uncomfortable about that. Then why do you? You know? So you got to ask
Mhm.
yourself that question and on a regular basis. Also, too, I tend to find that we all need to relearn lessons on a fairly regular basis. It's almost like just until it becomes muscle memory, and
Mhm.
that's in terms of how we deal with stuff.
Right, right. I see. That's helpful. Let me just check in and see if before we close out for the hour, whether we have any other questions in the chat. I think because we haven't been on consistently, people haven't really they don't know if we're going to be on or not. But take a little bit of time to get this back up and running. We on a regular basis, right? And then people can come in a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to also um I'm going to try to do Facebook again at some point
All
because
right. Well,
they had blocked me for a while, and I don't know if it was permanent or if it was just for a certain period of time, but I will try that again too, because um some people have an app, some people don't, some people have this, it's
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy, but they I don't I hope that this medium is still going to be useful.
Mhm.
Some of them seem to be, just data miners. They just mine data all the time on us, on all of us. And
Yes.
so it's
Right.
Well, one
it's
thing I think
convenient and entertaining for us on one hand, but it's also, we are giving up our freedoms using it. So we have to be aware of that.
I know it is it's not an easy slam dunk decision at times.
Mhm.
I think that people too, we took a weekend off. We surprised Louise and said, we have a chance to go away for a little bit.
Mhm.
So to anyone that was looking for us last weekend, that was Barb and I trying to make a
Mhm.
little bit of a last
Vacay.
summer vacay. But we're committed to doing the show. We appreciate Louisa's um, bright, thoughtful,
Hmm.
probing questions, her ability to see things clearly, and her ability to articulate sometimes complex topics. So, just giving her an atta girl and
Yeah,
Barb too.
thank you.
So,
Thank you. Well,
absolutely.
we are running towards the end of the report. So I guess this is always the time when, if there's no more questions, let me see if we have more questions. Take another look.
Why does everyone wait until the last minute and a half? That's what I want to know.
Well, I
Uh,
was going to ask you if you had any medium, like the medium. I mean, you already gave me a psychic reading. Did you
I
have
think
any
something
medium,
about
or
a
is that it?
Gregory or a Jeffrey. Gregory, Jeffrey feels like a dark-haired guy shows up. If a listener has lost a Gregory or Jeffrey, I'm
Mm,
hearing re at the end of the name, Greg, Jeff, darker haired, feels like a slender man, a slim guy. He's not the slender man, whatever that is. I'm not even sure. But feels slim on the tall, angular side. Feels like that might have been a drug uh, problem because he feels like he was way too young to have passed. If someone has lost someone like that, please acknowledge. I mean, it feels like again, kind of fair skin, dark, thick hair, not real long, and that it feels like he was struggling with drugs, and he made a mistake. Feels like that there may have been fentanyl because he thought that he was okay. This was not a suicide. It was a purely accidental. He says it was overdose. So anyone listening, if you know a Gregory Jeffrey fits that description, OD, it's like, please tell my family I'm learning, I'm okay. And I sometimes these people in spirit just show up and they're hoping that someone is listening or they're going to push someone to
mm,
listen, that
mm.
that description, that person jumps out. So that's what's going to
Got
happen.
it. Got it. Spirit does know when somebody's going to kind of tune in. They kind of orchestrate those coincidences, I think, up
Uh,
there on the other side.
Synchronicities, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they also can help create them. It's like,
Mm.
hey, so and so, listen to the GoldFish report, soul for the food for the soul tonight.
Mhm.
Download it. It's like
Yeah.
somehow I feel like I need to do that. So, and I think it's great, because then we discover things that not only do we discover useful information,
Mhm.
we realize that spirit brought me to this place and I needed to be here, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Is there uh so that's interesting. So if anybody, so somebody will watch this and that will be their message. That will be a message for them. Interesting though, because it seems like once you get into these drugs, you just can't focus on this reality anymore. And it makes
Yeah.
it very hard to stay here. And sometimes they provide doorways for demons, and you just gotta stay away from that
oh,
stuff, you know?
Right.
I'm getting one more message. I had a client that lost a 10-year-old golden little guy, a wonderful little son. And he was riding a scooter in front of his own house and he was hit by a car. So the message is he's asking people to be very conscious. If you have a tall SUV, go really
Go
slow
slow.
in the neighborhood
Yeah.
because this kid should be still, planning to be at school. He was, from everything I could feel, he was great. So even if you think you're busy, you're on the phone, you got to do this, I've got people relying on me, be really cautious. being told to tell you this because we're heading into the back to school season
Mhm.
for lots of kids that don't necessarily know where they're going, or they're little kids distracted. They're going to run in the street and you're going to miss them in your great big SUV. And
Right.
then you could end a life and tragically alter your own. So
Mm.
please,
So go slow.
yeah, and that was just this past week or so, and it was just like
That's
that
horrible.
one
That's
sticks
so
with me.
heartbreaking. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
It was so unfair
Oh,
to this beautiful little guy and his
mm,
family. So people be especially careful going back to school. It's coming up now.
mm,
Go extra slow because you're the grown up in the car with the weapon.
right.
Your car is the weapon.
Definitely a weapon.
There are a lot
Exactly.
of little kids that don't know
Mm,
anything,
mhm.
and then it's
Yeah.
we're obligated to try to protect them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We need to be protecting these children. Um, Last minute, is there any dead relatives of mine that might want to share any
Uh,
insight with me or any messages?
uh, I want to call Skinny Johnny. Skinny Johnny. There's a skinny guy named John. Yeah, he shows up and he's just kind of happy. I love you. He feels friendly and he feels like he's asking what's cooking. Like he leans over in the kitchen. He's kind of like somebody that would like to hang around in the kitchen, see what you're doing, likes to kibitz, talk, hang
Mhm,
out. He feels like a very sociable John, I think it is. So
mhm.
he says hello. He says, um, he, I know you have two Johns. This guy's
I got many of them,
Oh,
so it's
I'm just
okay.
seeing two right off the
Yeah.
bat.
Oh,
But
okay, no problem.
this slim guy just feels like he's kind of, not big, thin, but he's friendly and he just says hello. And I feel like that even if you're not sure why, that you're doing something, it feels like that it's like I'm alone in the kitchen doing something. And I would say maybe you're not. And I don't mean it in a dun 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 sort of way. It's more like Spirit just wants you to know that, we're here for you. In fact, that's what I would encourage everyone to think about.
Mhm,
If they're wondering, I'm here by myself, I'm kind of wish I had someone to talk to. It's like, let your mind go to someone that you lost and say hello to them because they're probably the ones standing by you. It's not a coincidence that they
Right.
pop into your head. Okay. So if someone pops into your head when you're slicing some tomatoes and you're kind of easing into the dinner
mm.
time and you just feel, I'm kind of relaxed. Oh, yeah, that was fun when he was here before. I remember seeing him. And he's probably there going, yeah, I thought it was fun too. Embrace that. Okay.
Okay, okay, I'll keep my eyes peeled. Well, it's been a very quick hour, hasn't it?
Wow. It went
Louise,
But
by
we just
so
got rolling,
fast.
boop, just like that.
Yeah.
So
I know. The time seems like it is speeding up though, and so I mean, every day it seems like
yeah,
it's speeding up faster and faster.
I know, I know.
Are we having this Sky event? I don't know if you know about it, but I think they're going to try to use their um Project Fire Sign holographic
Uh,
technology to create a Jesus coming. I don't know who knows what they're going to do with it, but it's
I
fake.
haven't felt it, but I feel like
No.
that there are more manipulations to come. Wait and
yeah.
Yeah.
see.
Wait
Yeah.
and see.
And if
That's
it doesn't feel right to you, if you see Jesus in the sky or aliens that want to be friends,
yeah.
give yourself, or they want to attack us and we all need to join together underneath the White House banner of rainbows and
Yeah.
whatever else they've got going.
Yeah.
Just
Take a
say
pass.
maybe not.
Take a
Maybe,
pass.
yeah, just think maybe I'll be okay without, the wonderful White House to protect me.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to screen share your website like I usually do at the end of our reports. So everybody knows where they can find you for a reading. If you are looking for some validation, some confirmation, some insight, some comforting, uh, some direction and guidance from your departed loved ones or not, even just from someone who is extremely psychic, you have someone right here who can help you. And this is Mark's website right here. And You can book, use all kinds of tabs here that you can look for information, special offers, testimonials, and of course, readings and how to book readings. So this is marknelsonmedium.com.
Yep.
And you can book appointments there. How are you running in terms of your schedule? Are you
I usually end up like I'm booked like a week and a half in advance at this point. It's not terrible.
okay,
So,
okay,
and then there's times where I'm like wall to wall for it really, I would say a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then it
uh-huh,
comes down and it's like I'm available tomorrow or whatever,
okay,
you
okay. Hmm.
know. Excuse me.
Yeah, I
He's
hope you feel better.
he's been off the grid for a little while.
Mm. Yeah, I hope you get that under control there with
I'm
the,
working on it.
yeah, I'm
Yeah, oh,
sorry,
he's
you were supposed
feeling
to be
much
going
better.
away, not supposed to be, getting sick and supposed to
This is
be
better.
enjoying. Oh yeah.
He is
Yeah,
so much better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you look good too, Barbara. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Yep,
I'm
stay,
trying.
yeah. So you guys have a great week.
You too, Louise.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight and with my
Thank you.
viewers here. And I'm going to upload this and send you guys the link. So to everyone who's watching after this is uploaded, pick up that phone, make a phone call. I always, or go on the website rather and book an appointment. We have the link in the description section of the video, so you'll know where to go if you didn't write it down when I showed you. So it's all good. A lot of things coming up. I'll probably be doing a geopolitical report soon. Um, and but we'll see. We'll see. I may be taking a break for a little while. I'm not sure.
All right.
Yeah.
If I have to make an announcement that I don't want to be making, then unfortunately I think I'm going to be taking a little time to myself. Uh so anyway, everyone, you have a great night and enjoy your weekend. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report.